The apartment that wasn't there. Some horror lives in the past, some in dark forests and distant villages. But what if the real nightmare lives just across the hall from you? What if it wears the skin of something familiar, but it isn't supposed to exist at all? Tonight we bring you a story of something lost between worlds, something waiting in a place that shouldn't exist. Turn off your lights, put on your headphones, and whatever you do, don't open doors that weren't there yesterday. The apartment that wasn't there, it started with a buzzing noise. Low, persistent like a fly trapped in an old light fixture. Jasmine Miller first heard it on a rainy Monday night, just as she was brushing her teeth in her new apartment on the 7th floor of Oak Hollow Towers, a newly renovated complex in the heart of the city. She paused, toothbrush halfway to her mouth, listening. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Not coming from her apartment. Definitely not the pipes or the fridge. It was coming from the hallway. She opened the door, and that's when she saw it. Apartment 7B. Jasmine lived in 7A, and according to her leasing contract, there was number 7B, just a janitor's closet. She remembered asking about it when she moved in. The manager said it had always been sealed off. Just an empty crawl space, no access. But tonight, apartment 7B was there. Fully formed, a door with a brass number, a peephole, and a faint glow seeping out from the cracks. She closed the door quickly and went to bed. Told herself she was just tired, mistaken. But the next morning it was still there. Even worse, someone had slid a note under her door. Scrawled in red ink, "Help, I can't get out." No name, no explanation. She showed the front desk. They looked confused. When they went upstairs with her, 7B was gone. Only the old janitor's closet stood in its place. The manager chuckled nervously and muttered something about the old layout glitching in the blueprints. Jasmine didn't laugh, because that night the door came back. The man in the wall. Over the next week, Jasmine heard sounds behind the wall she shared with 7B scratching, slow pacing and sobbing that would rise and fall like a tide. She tried recording it. Nothing played back. She called the police. They found no signs of a door, a room, or anything behind the wall, just layers of drywall and concrete. One officer whispered to her before leaving, "Don't try to open it. If you see the door again, pretend you didn't." The girl who came back, Jasmine did research, dug through city archives. She discovered Oak Hollow Towers was built over an older building, Marble Heights, a 1950s high-rise that burned down after a gas explosion. 17 people were never found, most presumed dead. But one survivor, a teenage girl, was interviewed after being discovered wandering the streets barefoot, hours after the blast. She told police, "They're still inside, the ones who didn't make it out, but the building didn't die. It waits, and sometimes it opens itself again, looking for more." She died a year later, slit her wrists in a locked psych ward. No one knew how she got the glass. Something watches Then came the dreams. Jasmine began waking up in strange places, the kitchen floor, the hallway, even once standing in front of apartment 7B with her hand on the doorknob. One night, she woke up to find her phone recording a video. It showed her sleeping, but the camera wasn't in her hand. It was across the room. The video ended with the camera slowly tilting to focus on the wall behind her bed, right where 7B would be. There was something moving beneath the paint, a shape pressing against the drywall from the other side, a face, and it was smiling. The door opens. One final night, Jasmine heard a knock at her door. Not 3 knocks, not 4, 17. One for each of the lost. When she opened the door, apartment 7B was there again, door wide open, shadows leaking out like oil, thick with whispers and faint crying. At the center of the room stood a little girl in a burned dress, holding out a hand. "It's your turn now," she said softly. "We have to keep the building full." Occupied, Jasmine Miller was never seen again. Oak Hollow Management said she broke her lease and vanished overnight. But tenants say the weird thing started after that. Sometimes the elevator stops at the 7th floor, even when no one pressed it. Sometimes they hear pacing behind the janitor's closet, and sometimes only on rainy nights they see a woman standing outside apartment 7B, staring blankly, her hand pressed against the door that shouldn't be there. Some doors lead to rooms. Others lead to something else entirely. If you ever find yourself living somewhere new, pay attention to the floors, the doors, and the things that knock in patterns. Because some places they don't just want to keep you in, they want to keep you forever.